Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a dramatic and unfolding situation that is shaking Eastern Europe. The recent turmoil in Belarus has taken a new and unexpected turn as key military leaders openly question the authority of President Alexander Lukashenko. This sudden shift has not only surprised analysts, but has also raised urgent global concerns about stability, loyalty, and the possibility of a deep internal crisis inside the Belarusian state. The story begins with growing dissatisfaction within different layers of the Belarusian military. For years, Lukashenko relied on the army as his primary shield, believing the generals would remain loyal no matter how intense the political pressure became. However, the current environment shows that loyalty is no longer guaranteed. Internal disagreements, economic strain, foreign pressure, and the ongoing debate about Belarus's sovereignty have pushed many officers to reconsider their stance. The first signs of tension appeared quietly. Junior officers began to express discomfort about being used to suppress protests. Soldiers felt uneasy about orders that targeted civilians. Gradually, this hesitation grew into whispers of discontent that traveled up the ranks. The military, once considered one of the most disciplined institutions in the region, slowly transformed into a body holding conflicting views about the future direction of the country. Many inside the army believe Belarus has reached a breaking point. They argue that the government's rigid approach has only fueled resentment. Some generals feel that the nation's interests are being overshadowed by political personal survival. Others are frustrated by economic conditions that place unnecessary burdens on military families. These internal cracks are now becoming visible to the outside world. As reports circulate, several high-ranking officers are said to have challenged certain decisions made by the president. These challenges are not open declarations, but subtle rejections, delayed responses, or quiet refusals to follow certain political directives. These small acts collectively represent a significant shift and indicate that the leadership's hold over the armed forces is weakening. There is also increasing influence from external factors. Belarus's relationship with neighboring countries, especially Russia and European states, plays a huge role in shaping the loyalty of the military structure. Some officers argue the country is leaning too heavily on foreign powers. Others believe that Belarus is isolated and must choose alliances carefully. This strategic confusion adds more pressure to an already fragile situation. Another crucial element is the public's reaction. Citizens have watched the unfolding drama with mixed emotions. Many are tired of long-standing political stagnation. Others fear instability could spiral into violence. But the population understands one clear fact. When military leaders begin expressing doubts, the nation may be standing on the edge of transformation. Some believe that the general's shift is a sign of hope, while others worry it marks the beginning of a dangerous confrontation. Amid the uncertainty, rumors are spreading rapidly. Some claim that certain units have refused orders. Others say generals have held private meetings to discuss alternative leadership options. While not all information is verified, the volume of reports suggests that something substantial is happening behind closed doors. The situation grew more intense after the circulation of leaked communication between officers. These leaks reportedly showed disagreements about how to respond to domestic unrest. Some argue for restraint to avoid unnecessary casualties. Others believe force should never be used against citizens. These differing opinions highlight a deep divide in military ideology. The president's response to these growing concerns appears firm. Lukashenko is known for maintaining strict control, and any sign of dissent is treated as a direct challenge. He has reshuffled key positions, assigned trusted individuals to critical roles, and increased surveillance within the military. These steps indicate he believes a threat is emerging and must be contained immediately. However, these actions may have the opposite effect. Many officers interpret the sudden changes as signs of fear. They believe the leadership is struggling to maintain control and reacting defensively. When a government appears unstable, it often accelerates internal divisions instead of resolving them. Another factor influencing the revolt is generational differences within the military. Younger officers have different expectations compared to older commanders. They are more exposed to global information, understand modern politics, and follow international reactions. Many younger personnel do not want to be part of decisions that harm the nation's reputation. Their reluctance creates friction with traditional military leadership that prioritizes absolute obedience. There is also the question of national identity. Many Belarusian soldiers feel conflicted about their country's future. They want stability, but also desire reforms that could improve the economy and political environment. The ongoing struggles have placed the military in a tough position where personal beliefs clash with official orders. As tensions rise, international communities are monitoring the situation closely. European governments are issuing statements urging calm and emphasizing the importance of protecting citizens. Meanwhile, Russia maintains a cautious stance, watching developments while asserting its interest in Belarus's stability. This geopolitical complexity adds another layer of uncertainty to the military revolt. Inside Belarus, conversations among citizens have shifted sharply. People no longer ask whether the military supports the government, but instead ask how deep the divisions are and whether these divisions could lead to major changes. In a country where political dissent has long been suppressed, the idea of military leaders questioning authority creates both fear and anticipation. Economic challenges also play a major role. Belarus is facing inflation, limited trade opportunities, and pressure from sanctions. Military families feel these burdens just like ordinary citizens. Many officers express frustration that their sacrifices are not being matched by improvements in the country's direction. Economic hardship often fuels political frustration, and in this case, it appears to be influencing strategic decisions within the army. Another sensitive issue is loyalty to the Constitution versus loyalty to the current leadership. Some officers argue that their duty is to the nation, not an individual leader. They believe their oath obligates them to protect national integrity, even if that means opposing certain decisions. This argument is spreading among different levels of the military, giving strength to those who believe change is necessary. Meanwhile, Lukashenko continues to project confidence. Publicly, he dismisses all reports of dissent as foreign propaganda or exaggerated rumors. However, behind the scenes, his administration is tightening security, increasing monitoring, and revisiting strategies that involve military positioning. These reactions reveal more than official statements do. They suggest a level of concern that cannot be ignored. As the situation unfolds, several scenarios emerge. One possibility is that the internal revolt remains controlled and does not escalate into open conflict. Another possibility is that divisions deepen, resulting in a significant leadership change. There is also the risk of a dramatic confrontation that could destabilize the entire region. None of these outcomes can be predicted with certainty because the military's internal dynamics remain highly confidential. Some experts believe the current stage is only the beginning. They argue that once military leaders begin questioning political decisions, it becomes difficult to restore complete trust. Even if the government manages to suppress the revolt, the long-term consequences will remain. Confidence in leadership has already been shaken, and rebuilding it will be challenging. At the same time, others believe the revolt could spark positive change. They argue that if military leaders demand reform, the country may move toward a more stable and transparent future. This perspective provides hope, but it also carries risks because transitions involving military influence are often unpredictable. In many cases worldwide, when military leadership becomes divided, the outcome can be dramatic. Belarus is currently in a sensitive position where a single decision or mistake could alter the direction of the entire nation. Observers emphasize the importance of dialogue and caution, but the current environment appears too charged for simple solutions. As details continue to emerge, it is clear that the Belarusian people are experiencing a moment of historical significance. Generations may look back on this period as a turning point. Whether it becomes a moment of liberation, turmoil, or transformation remains unknown. What is certain is that the military revolt has exposed deep-rooted issues that have existed for years. Communication inside the country is increasingly restricted, making it difficult for citizens to obtain accurate information. As a result, rumors spread quickly and shape public perception. Some people believe changes are already underway. Others think powerful forces will prevent any major shift. This uncertainty creates an atmosphere of tension across cities, towns, and rural areas. Social media also plays a role. Even though Belarus keeps a tight grip on online platforms, information still finds its way through various channels. Posts shared by anonymous military personnel, leaked photos, and unverified reports circulate widely. While not all material is trustworthy, it reflects the level of curiosity and fear among the population. Families of military officers are feeling pressure as well. Many worry about the safety of their loved ones. They hope decisions will be guided by wisdom rather than political rivalry. Their emotional stress adds another layer to the national tension, as military families are closely connected to communities throughout Belarus. In the midst of all this, there are growing calls for transparency. Citizens want clarity about the motives behind the revolt. They want to know whether military leaders seek reform, justice, or simply personal power. Without clear communication, people are left to interpret events based on fragmented information, which increases anxiety. The global response has been mixed but cautious. Some international leaders warn that instability in Belarus could spill over into neighboring regions. Others urge diplomatic solutions to prevent escalation. Human rights organizations are demanding the protection of civilians in case the situation turns violent. These reactions highlight how significant the military revolt is on an international scale. As the story continues developing, one question stands at the center: what do the military leaders truly want? Some argue they seek to prevent the country from sinking further into crisis. Others think they are positioning themselves for future political influence. The truth may be a combination of multiple motivations shaped by years of pressure and internal conflict. Another key factor is communication between officers and foreign partners. Although Belarus's alliances complicate this matter, there are occasional reports suggesting that foreign governments are watching the behavior of certain generals. Whether this leads to diplomatic pressure or strategic communication is unclear, but it adds complexity to the situation. Inside the military, the atmosphere is extremely sensitive. Soldiers are cautious about expressing opinions. Officers are selective about whom they trust. Meetings are handled discreetly. Even ordinary conversations carry a sense of tension because any misinterpreted word could lead to disciplinary consequences. Despite the controlled environment, ideas continue to spread. The concept of serving the country rather than political orders is gaining traction among certain factions. The desire to avoid unnecessary conflict and protect the population is also strong. These ideas challenge the traditional doctrine of unquestioned obedience, creating a silent ideological battle within the military. As days go by, evidence suggests that the revolt is not just a momentary reaction. It is a sign of deeper conflict between old structures and emerging demands for change. This battle is not fought on streets or battlefields, but within minds, conversations, and strategic decisions made behind sealed doors. The coming weeks may decide the future of the nation. If leadership fails to address the concerns of the military, internal pressure may rise. If generals cannot form a united vision, the revolt may lose momentum. If external actors intervene, the situation may shift dramatically. Every variable carries weight, making the outcome unpredictable yet critically important. Citizens continue to hope for peaceful solutions. Many believe the country has suffered enough tension and deserves a stable future. Whether the military revolt becomes a catalyst for progress or a trigger for deeper crisis, the impact on the nation will be unmistakable. As we follow these developments, one thing remains clear: Belarus is undergoing a historic moment. The actions of military leaders, combined with the responses of political authorities and the emotions of the population, will shape the direction of the nation for years to come. This is not just a political event, but a defining chapter in the story of a country seeking its identity and future. The world will continue watching every step, every response, and every sign of change. The people of Belarus are standing at a crossroads, uncertain but hopeful, fearful but determined. What happens next will decide how this chapter ends and what comes after.